Alrighty, Mr. Gatekeeper here. I have a Palomar Elite 775 right here. And I personally hadn't seen many of these amps out and about. I'll be honest with you, I've heard a lot of bad things about these amps. Excuse me, moving around a good bit. And from what I understand, pretty much as soon as they released them, they discontinued them. Personally, if this was my personal amplifier, I would completely do away with this driver section in here and just make it a straight 4. Because I just don't agree with some of the things that are in the driver section, the way it's put together. And if you ask me, the driver section seems to be choking it up a bit. But basically, I had a request to repair the amp and to Class C bias it. As you can see, it has a nice little regulated AB bias into it with the voltage regulator and the pass transistor there. So it did have regulated AB. I don't agree with the core ferrite that's used in this build. But one of the main things is it wasn't keying up. I had to actually input my own keying circuit into here. There was some damage up under the board of the keying circuit, and it was just so small and delicate the way the traces were done. It was best if I did that. And as you can see, I Class C biased it. I also took since I did Class C bias it, I went ahead and took the 15 ohm resistors off, put 10s on, since that wasn't part of that circuit anymore. Those 15s were part of the AB bias circuit. I had to do a little bit of work to the padding up front right here. This resistor was blown. Okay, so I had to replace that resistor right there. I had to retune the whole amplifier, believe it or not. Maybe somebody can explain this in the comment section, because I have not seen this before in any amplifier except one home brew that I've seen. There was no output capacitor at all. There was no output tune on this amplifier. None. At all, period. I had to throw a trimmer in there and do my best there to tune the output. It tuned out to be a... Let's see, what is that? That's on the other side. No, it's on that side. What is that? Oh, 120. Tune that to be a 120, which is about right for these transistors in this type of configuration. So, yeah, that's very weird. Why is there no output tune on this amplifier? Well, anyway, had to throw a trimmer right here on the input. There was 100 picofarad. It trimmed down to a 68. This right here, I just left that be. That was fine. Okay, I had to pull this board out twice. So there was some labor into this thing. Y'all know me, I'm always going to try to keep it as honest as possible. I'm not a huge fan of this amplifier now that I've really had time to take a look at it. It's not the easiest thing to work on. As you can see, there's not too many surface there's not too many surface connections where you can actually change things and solder things on the top. Just like, for example, right here. That's why both of these biasing chokes, I'm having the ground right here on the emitter of the 1446 driver, because there's nowhere else to ground it to, really. That's about the best place to do it at. So I had to that's why I had to take the board out twice. One was for the keying circuit. The other was to check out the AB biasing circuit to see exactly the best way to convert that over to a Class C. And I'm not exactly 100% happy with the outcome of the actual wattage. It's definitely not doing 775 watts. I'm gonna go ahead and let you know that now. I've done all I can do to get the power out of this thing. It just is what it is. I'm getting okay RMS wattage out of it. I'm getting about 300 watts RMS. That's fine. That's good for 4 2290s. But that's another thing. These are 2290s, y'all. They're not 2879s. Okay. That's what I'm saying. I would have just rather had this straightforward, to be honest with you. But it is what it is. So here we go. I'm going to go ahead and drive it with the bench radio first, which is 4 watts RMS. And after this, Mr. Glenn, we will do your other amplifier here, this RM Italy. And I'm done with as well. Alrighty. We got the 1000-watt slug. Okay. RMS. Go ahead and put it on high. Produces about 180 watt dead key. Oh, not much of an increase. Oh, almost 200, but not that much of an increase. Here's your PEP. Oh, about 450 watts. All right, we're gonna go ahead and hook up the hot radio. We're gonna double our input real quick. All right, we're gonna double our input from 4 watts to 8 watts RMS. 1000-watt slug still RMS. Oh, about 250. All right, and if we reach back here and turn the unregulated supply up on the high tap. Oh, there's your about 320 watts RMS. Which that's decently impressive. That's decently impressive. Oh. All right, we'll go ahead and check the peak. Oh, about 510 watts. So there you go, bud. So we'll go ahead and get the back screwed on, get the bottom back on it. About 240 or so RMS with the 4 watts drive. 3 to 320, 8 watts drive. Most we can see out of this thing on the peak end, man, is 500, 520 watts PEP. Which, you know, if you think about a Texas Star 400, well, it's 400 watts, 500 watts. So that's about what it should be doing. Like I said, I'm not too sure why it's called the 775. And I don't doubt it. I don't doubt that some of these amps can do up to 775 watts, but this one's not. It is what it is. That's what they say. And hey, all I can do is my best. And I went through this thing and combed through it and done all I can. But hey, at first all it was doing was about 120 watts at first. So we did get it to come up dramatically from that point. And if I was you, I would rather have another power wire coming in over here, because I mean it's over here and it's traveling from there up under the board coming to here. I don't really like that much. So you might want to do that on your spare time, but just run another power wire here, send it right there, and throw you another ground if you want to too. All right, I'll go ahead and press pause, and I'll be back. And we'll go ahead and get your RM Italy video done. All right, brother, we're back. I had to make a few, had to make a quick adjustment to the input padding here. Basically, as you see, here's what it looks like from these amps when you get them. Input power, FM or AM, 3 to 5 watts. Basically what that means is, do not put no more than 3 to 5 watts of a dead key into the amp, or 3 to 5 watts of an RMS swing into the amp. Now this bad boy can handle up to about 8 watts to 10 watts RMS, since I put a little bit of input padding, and it doesn't want you to modulate no more than 10 watts into it. That's the way it comes. Okay, pulling 10 amps, 13.8 volts. So anyway, what was wrong with the amp at first was somebody had ran this thing so hot that both the fuses, which is mounted on board, were melted and cooked. So you know, we talked about it on the phone, Glenn. So I went ahead and got them off the board for you and just straight wired that. So if you want to add a fuse to it, you can just add one to the power wire. Because I for sure didn't have any spare parts laying around that could have, you know, done that as fuses. Here is an all surface mount amplifier. The transistors that is in this thing are M104s. And it appears that somebody's blown one of these already and replaced it. I can't tell which one was blown or what, but you know, it's definitely a unique amplifier. You got 510 ohm resistors, which is real weird from base to ground. Got all your surface mount stuff. See, what is that? 470 picofarads from here to there. There's your little cap from on the top of the transformer for the leakage cap. There's one there. It's all surface mount. If you take a look at this, they have a 300 ohm resistor for the low. that ain't gonna do nothing. 300 ohm resistor. I mean, that needs to at least be 100 ohm or something. So basically, after I fixed that, what was going on was, if I put 1 watt of a dead key into the amp, it was dead keying about 180 watts, swinging about 200, or I think it wasn't swinging much at all. Yeah, just 1 watt pretty much almost had the amp topped out. So what I went ahead and done was added some input padding. We went with a 22 ohm resistor here in series. They actually already had a hole there. It looks like this board's also used for, as you can see, there's a place to put a regular resistor there if you want to take that chip resistor out. So there was a hole here. I just unsoldered the A1 here of the transformer wire going into the transformer here, and went there real neat, and almost looks like it's factory, since there was a hole already there. And actually, let me take this 1000 watt out, y'all. I just got me a 250 ohm. I mean 250 ohm. I always say stuff wrong. 250 watt, brand new Bird element, or as we call them, slugs. So let's use that for a change. All right, we're gonna put 4 watts into her at first. We got it on 15 volts. All right. So now, instead of a 180 watt dead key, we're reading the top scale. 20 at the top is 200 watts. All the way at the end is 250 watts. The 5 is 50. In between that 75, that 10 is 100. I think it dropped dramatically. Pretty much right there, about a 45 to, not a 45, right there about 25 watt dead key. That's a lot better, man. All right, this is RMS. Oh yeah, oh yeah, about 60 watts, which is pretty good, man. I'm fairly impressed with that, with these transistors. All right, let's take a look at the peak. Oh yeah, almost 150 watts, right there about 140. So now I got that input padding on there. It's doing a little less than it was without it, because it was getting about 180 to 200. But at least now that I got this input padding, you can feel a little bit more safer driving. You can drive a little bit more into it now. And let's test that out. I'm going to hook the hot radio up to it. Y'all give me a second. Let's see what this thing will do with about 8 watts RMS. RM Italy, y'all. It's called a KL300 watt. I've had about 5 or 6 of them go through here, and I have not seen one of them get anywhere near 300 watts. So it must be on them Italy meters that do 300 watts. That's supposed to be a funny. Okay. Alrighty, 250 watt slug. Turn the peak off, go back to RMS. At the top 10, that's 100. Oh, might be good if I turn the radio, this supply on for the power of the radio. Oh, uh-oh. Oh, about 60 watts. So it looks like we're pretty much at our top end. So we're not going to get no more out of that. Let's make sure that's on high. Yeah, it's on high. So it looks like we're pretty much at the top end of the amp, which is 60 watts. Oh, yep. Pretty much right there at the top end. And just for the fun of it, if I'm going to put the 100 watt slug back in, which reading this small amount of power isn't exactly the most accurate way. That 250 is more accurate. Oh, so it shows about 80 watts RMS. Oh, PP. Oh, about 200. So that shows you a little bit looser when you're reading small watts like that. You want to stay within a certain percentage. And now that I got a 250 watt slug, I can do that. All right, well there you go, bud. You're getting about 60 bird, 60 to 80 bird. You can save both slugs. 150 to 200 watts peak. So she's working good, man. And now that I got this input pad in here, this will make a good driver. Since it's got a good low dead key now. All right, man. Get this back to you, Glenn. Appreciate your patience, brother. Gatekeeper right here around the northeast end of Georgia. Bye, bye, bye.